Hi, it's Gwyn and welcome back to the Revolver Beatles channel. I hope you're all doing well. Well, at last, here it is, Wings in all its glory. So, as you'd expect, this comes in multiple formats. There's a 2 CD, there's this, the 3 LP, which comes in coloured vinyl, and there's a black vinyl version, and there's also a Blu-ray edition featuring the 32 tracks, plus a single CD and a single LP with all the hits, if you like, 12 tracks for the more casual listener. So in terms of sound, this is the first ever physical release in Dolby Atmos and 5.1 surround sound. This means that you'll literally hear wings flapping around your living room, and I have it on very good authority from my pal Rob Turner that these mixes extend the soundstage quite incredibly and make this a real sonic experience and something you must hear. In terms of the visuals, the artwork is overseen by the legendary design studio Hypnosis, who's given us all the covers for Band on the Run, Venus and Mars, Wings Over America, et al. And Paul too was actively involved in the creation of this package and the design. So what about extras in this box set? Well, there's a very lush 32-page booklet full of photos, paintings and tour artwork, including contributions from painter and former Wings companion Humphrey Ocean. The book features 2-page features on each of the Wings albums, plus there are posters and stickers too. So what about song curation? Well, that's all on the shoulders of a Mr. Paul McCartney. So if your favourite track isn't here, well, you've only got one person to blame, so please send any complaints to Paul McCartney, London, England. And so let's begin with a challenge to you. Could you assemble a 32-track compilation of any other band of the 1970s and cover such a wide spectrum of musical styles and include the number of chart hits as do Wings on this compilation? So why shouldn't Wings' 1970 output be compared more favourably than it is and against other heavy hitters of the decade? Please allow me to be devil's advocate just for a moment. So what about these other heavyweight contenders of the 1970s? Well, let's look at the contenders. Led Zeppelin, lacking range and performing bloated, solo-heavy live sets, and there's always that plagiarism issue lurking under the surface. Deliberately not as chart-friendly as Wings either. Pink Floyd, the bleak, overindulgent, concept-driven studio LP-centric output delivered few hits and nothing on the fun scale, whereas Wings had fun in buckets. The Rolling Stones. Starting the decade in their pomp, they spiralled into a riff-laden self-parody by the end of the 1970s, and their LPs and live output being notably inconsistent. They struggled with a variety that came so easily to Wings. Queen. Well, they had moments of brilliance in the 70s for sure, but their appeal did not really take off until the 80s. Erratic LPs, they were often considered pompous and overblown by critics. Love 'em or not, Wings weren't pompous at all and were authentic to the core. What about Fleetwood Mac? Limited to just a few standout LPs, this soap opera of a band suffered incredible interpersonal chaos that blunted their potential in the soft rock only category. Wings could play the soft rock card as well as any band, but had so much more to their repertoire. The Who. Like the Stones, the brilliance of The Who's 60s output spilled favourably into the early 70s, after which their legacy somewhat diluted as they struggled to find new ideas in a changing musical landscape. Wings were never short of ideas. In fact, you could argue the fact that they had too many. The Eagles, with a career built on the back of a few notable tunes which gave them a huge AM radio presence in the States, but not a global reputation. This was sleek country rock, fit for corporate consumption. Hardly revolutionary or groundbreaking, the Eagles played it safe. Wings would take on the critics head-on, doing the unexpected and sometimes at their own cost. ELO. Beatles light and lacking any real emotional authenticity, has music ever been so overproduced? More pop machine than rock group, maybe Wings were then the band that ELO aspired to be. So why were Wings overlooked? Maybe it's because of a number of missteps and misconceptions. Let's look at some of their song choices. While the cream of the Wings, as you have here on this compilation, is an exquisite and heady mix, the released albums by Wings, from Wildlife through to Back to the Egg, often feature tracks that would dent their reputation, and the single releases of Mary Had a Little Lamb and Give Ireland Back to the Irish certainly didn't exactly help Wings to take off in the first place. Then there's the Linda factor. My word, she really had a lot to put up from the critics at the time, but her vocals, along with Denny's, was an integral part of the Wings sound. There was also bad press battling against good press. The drug busts didn't really help, and ultimately the Japan bust was the final nail in the coffin for the band, after a few years of lost momentum, to be honest. Then there's band cohesion, with the revolving door of band members, and the fact that those band members were really considered as nothing more than hired hand for Paul McCartney's hobby or project, rather than as fully fledged contributors to a band. But probably, and most significantly all, Wings were just not the Beatles. And because of that, they were always going to be considered subpar. Paul and Wings took risk, which led to some of the aforementioned missteps, but also added significantly to their charm. Wings' mistakes could be considered as career highlights for other artists. So the songs compiled here are very familiar to us all and have been pretty much integral to other compilations over the years. Wings' Greatest, All the Best, Wingspan and Pure McCartney. But this is the first true Wings-only compilation. Listening to these songs in a sequence which is pretty unfamiliar, to be honest, brings them a new kind of energy and highlights songs that deserve to be placed among more illustrious neighbours. So let's run through the album side by side. Side 1 has Band on the Run, Hi Hi Hi, Silly Love Songs, Letting Go, and 1985. Side 1 is pretty much faultless and sounds superb. Each track is a heavy hitter, and Letting Go, which has always been a favourite of mine, has one of the best intros to any Wings song. Side 2 consists of Live and Let Die, Mamounia, Junior's Farm, Helen Wheels, and Some People Never Know. It is really lovely to have Some People Never Know sitting amongst such illustrious company, and it is much deserved. It's a really fantastic track. Side 3 has Let 'Em In, Get On the Right Thing, Jet, My Love, and Call Me Back Again. This is an eclectic mix for Side 3, from the ballad beauty of My Love to the rock punch of Jet. Absolutely fabulous. Side 4 consists of Getting Closer, Listen to What the Man Said, I've Had Enough, Love is Strange, London Town, and Arrow Through Me. Now this could possibly be the weakest side on the set, but how can that be with Listen to What the Man Said and the sublime and much overlooked Arrow Through Me? On to side 5, and we have Venus and Mars Rock Show, She's My Baby, Bluebird, Deliver Your Children, Let Me Roll It, and Mull of Kintyre. Side 5, featuring the Denny-driven folkish track Deliver Your Children, rightfully highlights Denny, but not necessarily the best Denny track to have been chosen, but that's just my opinion. Mull of Kintyre is really fabulous, unique, and underappreciated in my view. It has been a while since I've properly listened to it. I mean, really listened to it, and boy oh boy did I enjoy it. And finally, side 6, which has Wildlife, Sea Moon, With a Little Luck, Soily, and Goodnight Tonight. The final side again mixes things up with every track. You got rock, pop, reggae and disco, emphasising the true diversity of Paul McCartney and Wings. and I bloody love it. Just remember that a track like Sea Moon is just as relevant and wingish as the heart-pounding Soily. So I'm not going to fight anyone over the selection of songs on here. They really are fantastic. Yet would I make personal tweaks? Hell yeah. I'd have Daytime, Nighttime, Suffering, Beware My Love, Time to Hide and Old Siamsa in the mix for consideration, to name just a few. Maybe I've Had Enough, She's My Baby and Deliver Your Children and Love Is Strange might well be on my exclusion list, but ask me on another day and who knows what I'd say. Why have we got this compilation now? And is it needed at all? Well, this compilation is a companion piece to the new book, Wings, The Story of a Band on the Run, and the upcoming documentary release of Man on the Run on the Amazon platform, and due to be released in February next year. Is it needed? Well, yes and no. There is nothing new per se on here, and yet it does give a distinct recognition to Wings as a band and presents their legacy for a new generation of fans, and I can't disagree with that. The package itself is really nicely produced, packed with really great photos and features on the album releases of Wings throughout the years, and even quotes Dora the Explorer. I kid you not. So listening to this album has been a real delight and reminds me that I am still a Wings fan and proud to be so. It even makes me pine for the arrival of a club sandwich and to get my Fun Club membership card through the post. Was Wings ever considered cool? Well, not really. There were some strange haircuts. There was an over-reliance of tartan at times, which really placed Wings very much in the 1970s. But through all that, the music stands out. So in terms of ranking, I'm going to give this a very solid 4 out of 5. It isn't essential, but does serve as a decent reminder to a creative and fun time in Paul's career. So what are your highlights on this box set? Are there any tracks that you feel are missing? Do Wings really compare to other heavyweights of the 1970s? When did Wings go awry? I've got the perfect outlook for you to share your thoughts, so put them down in the comments box below. Please hold on to your horses, because very soon we're going to be embarking on the Beatles anthology adventure. So please make sure you smash that like button, subscribe and all that jazz. It really helps the channel and gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling inside. Similar, I expect, to the fuzzy feeling that I'll get when Paul announces the release of the London Town and Back to the Egg box sets. Bring it on, Paul. So until next time, please take care and bye for now.